we are at Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
The pilot.
Yeah.
The pilot episode.
So what, if you're new to this, because I know there are Twin Peaks fans, there are David Lynch fans, there are people who are in between. If you're new to this, then just feel free to know that we got spoilers galore.
Oh yeah, like
I don't know. I don't know how else to explain that.
We just go through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And we
So
just give
in fact,
spoilers.
like our plan is to do the pilot, which is today, and then the movie, which came out after the
Firewalk with
show.
Me.
Yeah. Firewalk with Me. So like, if you haven't seen it, you don't want spoilers. Now's the time to turn away and go listen to something else.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
You'll regret it.
No.
You'll regret it.
Alright, so what do you got?
Alright, so we watched it on Netflix. I got that. Shout
Yeah,
out to
we
Netflix.
watched it together once on Netflix, and then we watched it both separately again.
I watched it the night before last, because we were supposed to do it last night, but there may be snow.
We had like bad weather.
It was so weird. Like, we've been trying to do this for...
It's been a bad week for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And so, I noticed, okay, on Netflix, the sound, like, cut out for a second. Did you notice? Did you watch it on Netflix?
I mean, the time I did with you, yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if, like, so I don't know if that's obviously not, like, a big thing, but it happened. Okay, so I have that note. So, the font, color, like, with the orange and the green.
I love it.
It's, like...
I love it.
It's, like, tacky, but it's not.
I think it's iconic.
It's iconic, for sure. Like, yeah.
And I even have like a t-shirt that has like directed by David Lynch on it, and that same font with like the green outline, and people are always commenting on it, and so I'm like, yeah.
It's such a smart like design directed by David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else do I got? There was like the sawing wood sort of thing, which reminded me of like Blue Velvet a little bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like Blue Velvet connections.
It also reminded me of Larry David. Like, do you respect wood?
Yeah, okay.
Alright, I gotta go there. Which, have you seen the new season?
Not yet, no. Season 10?
Yeah, you should go for it whenever you get a chance.
Okay.
What do you got?
Well, I mean, truth be told, I didn't get a chance for getting a lot of trivia because it's been a really hard week for me.
Okay.
But I do know that this was originally released on ABC on April 8th, 1990.
April, it's an Aries baby.
Yeah, just like you. So, I mean, the first thing I wrote on my notes was, open on Joan Chin / Jogie Packard.
Yeah.
Because she's looking in the mirror and she's humming to herself while she's, like, applying lipstick.
And she's so beautiful, by the way. Like,
oh, yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Totally.
I'm glad to see her still doing work. Oh, yeah. I wanted to say, like, before that, the credits were to, like, basically Falling. Julie Cruz is Falling.
Yeah.
But it was,
and
like,
they were longer than usual as well. Like, there were more, like, they put more people in the original credits of the pilot than they did, where, like, in the later episodes where they were, like, you know...
Just
also, or guest starring, or, you know.
I didn't notice that, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. What else we got? There was also, like, Warren Frost. Warren Frost was in the credits, which I wanted to point out was Mark Frost's dad.
True,
Mark Frost also, like...
He played Doc Haywood, right?
Yeah, Dennis Daddy.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. So Mark Frost wrote The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, is that right?
Huh?
Did he write The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer, that book?
Well, Mark Frost did.
He did? Okay. That's what I was double checking. Yeah. So...
Or wait, no. Actually, I'm wrong. Jennifer Lynch did.
That's right.
That was David Lynch's daughter.
He did The Secret History of Twin
Peaks.
I'm pretty sure. So he's like a co-writer.
There are multiple books, people.
Yeah, tons of books, tons of lore, tons of canon. Canon, not wait. The first scene is the exterior of the Martell house, and like Josie Packard, and then we got Catherine and Pete. Like, she's all like super dismissive while he's like trying to be sweet to her. Like, and
that's kind of how their dynamic goes for the entire
series.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
But, like, it's awesome that Catherine's played by Piper Laurie, who,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, she was the mom in Carrie.
She was the mom in Carrie.
So it's like, okay.
So she, like, took it down a notch.
Yeah.
For this one. She's like, how can I make myself
Like,
mellow?
let's get crazy.
Let's get nuts.
Yeah. Pete Martell, who is played by Jack Nance.
Jack Nance!
Which we love from, like, every David Lynch movie ever.
Yeah, like, pretty much every single movie.
Starting from Eraserhead.
He's been in every single one, though, hasn't he?
Until he died, yeah.
I didn't realize that. Like, every single one until he
I'm pretty
died.
sure, yeah.
Wow. What
And
a career.
so Pete, obviously, he's in Twin Peaks because that's who David Lynch.
They were friends.
David Lynch
I
would
guess
always use
the log lady, Catherine, what's her name? Collison?
Martell.
No, that's like
No,
that's
that's
his
Piper
wife.
Laurie.
That's kind of strange.
That's Piper Laurie.
What, it's something
No,
Coulson.
Catherine Coulson.
Coulson, yeah. Jack Nance and her used to date. And, like, David Lynch, like, moved in with
really?
them. Yeah, like,
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
why I remember this trivia, but, like, they used to live together back before, I want to say before Eraserhead?
Okay.
Or around
I knew
that time, maybe after.
I knew
they
like,
lived together.
They went like way back.
Yeah. They lived together.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool,
All right.
I think. Yeah.
I believe it.
I'm I'm like 95% sure.
All right. Well, what I have next wrote is Pete Martell finds a dead body wrapped in a plastic bag. But before he finds that, he hears a foghorn in the distance and says, which is the first line of the entire show, "The lonesome foghorn blows."
I don't remember that at all. Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no, because he says, like, gone fishing.
Yeah, I think he writes a note saying "gone
Oh,
fishing."
okay. I
And
have that
then,
written down.
like,
Like, okay.
he says to himself out loud, "The lonesome foghorn blows."
That's cute. He's such a cute character.
Yeah.
Like, he's like...
Speaking of cute, the next thing on my list is Lucy Moran,
Oh.
who I think is hilariously last named Moran because she's a moron.
Yeah, it's
Tells Sheriff Truman that, you know, someone's called and described someone's called about a death, and then she continues to describe the phone in plastic detail, like as if he doesn't know what a phone is.
Yeah, he's like, okay, it'll be on the phone, on the desk. It's
Yeah.
this phone with this description. I
Yeah,
forgot the
like she
entire,
was like
spiel of it.
explaining like how to work a phone in a time where everyone knows how to work a phone before smartphones.
Yeah, no, she does that a lot. It's
Like
really
you dial
cute.
9. That's it.
And yeah, like it's just kind of ridiculous. I think it's really adorable. I have like the whole like she's dead wrapped in plastic, which is like super iconic.
That's actually what I wrote next.
Yeah.
Is that like she's dead wrapped in plastic, which I mean that's an iconic line. So
yeah, and she's talking about Laura.
yeah,
Well, I guess we find that out
Yeah.
later. And
she's someone that this whole small town knows.
yeah.
'Cause she was like homecoming queen.
Yeah. Dancing queen, feel the
Only
the
17.
And I wrote down the foghorn sounded like a phone vibrating. Like I thought it was like my phone like vibrating when I heard it. I was
Okay.
like, what is this? And then that's not
funny.
super important, but that happened. And then Andy starts crying. So Andy's like Lucy's has boyfriend. Has boyfriend.
Ish. Yeah.
Who's also a fellow police officer, and Lucy works at the sheriff's office as the secretary.
Yes, yeah. Lucy's the secretary, and then so like to investigate the body, we've got Doc Haywood, which is Donna's father. We've got Andy, the police officer, and then Sheriff Harry S. Truman. Named after the president.
Did they ever explain that? Like why it was named after the president? Or they just like let it slide. They were just like, this is his name.
Well, I think they did in episode 8 of season 3.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
Because Truman was the one
Yeah,
who
he was the
set
one.
off the first atomic bomb.
What an asshole, though. I do not agree with that. That was not
Yeah.
cool.
Anyway, Andy breaks down crying outside the body because it's Laura Palmer. And then I was like, so Sarah Palmer, her mother, is smoking in like her 80s kitchen. Yeah. It looks very 80s. Like everything's like made of woodwork. The phone is like
yellow,
you know,
right?
like on the wall. It's a yellow phone, like with a cord. It's got all these things.
I feel like I grew up in that kitchen. You know what I mean? Like
Me too.
Like I was, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
there.
Well, you know, according to my mom, I watched this show with her when I was 4.
Really?
And so maybe it like stuck in my subconscious somehow that maybe like, oh, like this is why I love this show so much. I don't know.
I don't think my mom ever watched Twin Peaks. I don't think she was.
It was a big event. Like it was like one of those things that like everyone was watching. So like I watched it with my family, with my parents, thinking like I'll never remember this, but I did.
Now you know. And
anyway, she's smoking like in her Asian kitchen, and she's worried because Laura hasn't come home, and it's the morning time. She's calling her down, and
she's under this like she's like looking around the house under like the fan now.
Yeah, because she goes above the famous ceiling fan
in the staircase
in the stairwell, and that spins. And
it's like super loud too. I have a comment that it's like like super loud.
Yeah, it's meant to be like kind of. I don't know, something that you really take to, I don't know how to put it in words. It's just something really bold that you take to heart, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it was pretty like startling, I guess. You know.
Yeah, it was more than normal.
It catches your attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like then she calls the Briggs.
Yeah, and so
the Briggs' house.
The Briggs' house, because Laura is dating Bobby Briggs,
who's like a football star, I think.
Yeah, he's like,
never see him play football.
He's a big football guy.
We just see him do drugs.
The only time we see a football is when he puts cocaine in it. But that comes later. But yeah, no. So Sarah Palmer calls Bobby's parents, and they're like, no, she's not here. And it's kind of a weird scene because, like, the mother's just giving, like, Bobby's husband, like, this weird massage in the morning that, like, most people wouldn't give.
Yeah, they're, like, very affectionate.
So it's just like, this is some Lynchian weird shit happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, the entire pilot is very Lynchian. It's very, like, just uneasy feeling, and it's like not a sitcom. I'm sorry, it's like a drama, but it's like
it's a melodrama. And I feel like it's kind of a soap opera in a lot of ways. Yeah,
and I like how
that's like I even wrote, I think somewhere in my notes, like they set up so many different plot points. It's like they meant it for it to be a soap opera.
I see. And what's the difference between like a melodrama and a soap opera?
Not much.
Just not okay. And yeah,
it's basically drama that you can laugh at.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very laughable, but it seemed like very off. Like it's just very Lynchian for like a TV series, you know, like just
it's
very
Lynch.
weird.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I'm honestly surprised that ABC ever greenlit this, but thank God they did.
And like his body of work like was good, but it wasn't like super impressive. I mean, like it was okay.
He had Blue Velvet under his belt, which was like okay.
It was good, but it wasn't like.
He also had the Elephant Man.
Yeah,
which was
that's
iconic.
True. That was iconic. Yeah. And Dune, which was not iconic, but iconic enough.
Failure, but it was big.
I fucking love Dune. I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I know why.
I mean, I like it more now. Everyone, if you haven't listened to our Dune podcast, go back to our Dune podcast, okay? So anyway, the next thing I wrote was cut to Audrey catching a town car outside of the Great Northern. Like, because, like, she has a town car take her to school.
Oh, that's right, with her, like, really adorable, like...
Because so we know she's a rich girl.
She has, like, her cute little, like, what are those shoes? Like, those, like 50s, even-looking shoes.
Cat shoes?
I think so. They're, like...
cat heels?
Are they cat heels? They may be, but they're, like, the black and white. Like, distinctly, like, 50s sort of
they're probably
looking.
Cat heels.
And... she had, like, her cute socks and her, like, you know, cute haircut and, like, just obviously, like, super rich chick from, you know, Beverly Hills.
Oh.
Beverly Hills
Whoa!
Twin Peaks.
Okay. Well, anyway, she is the offspring of Ben, who is somebody who owns the Great Northern Hotel, which she lives at. And she's catching a town car to go to school. Meanwhile, Leland and Ben are discussing acquiring this land where the Packard sawmill is
The
placed,
Ghostwood Estates.
in hopes of selling it to the Norwegian investors as Ghostwood Country Club and Estates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
And they say we're gonna get it for a song, one verse, one verse, no chorus.
And part of what they were trying to like appeal to the Norwegians was, my air sacs have never felt so good. So, I don't know. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I thought you were like saying that they were like appealing to like Norwegian people.
I meant in the way of like being like, we're a town of industry, but a town that has clean air at the same time.
Yeah, which is not a real
My air
thing.
sacs have never felt so good. It was just like one of those like Lynchian things where it's like, why would they include that? It's so bizarre, you know, because nobody says that.
Health and industry go hand in hand.
Yeah, like that was their whole presentation.
Yes, I have that
before
written.
PowerPoint.
I have that written. Oh, PowerPoint.
Yeah.
How was I going to mention? Oh.
I ain't tell that. We got the dog with us, okay? Calm down. All right.
Love it.
So anyway, Leland is there for the presentation, and then it gets a call from Sarah, at which point Sheriff Truman arrives, and they both just know that Laura is dead without anyone saying a word. Like, they both just break down because they know something is wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really, like, sad. I'm gonna drop a spoiler. I think it was really interesting that Leland, out of all, like, the family members, is the first to find out, but he is actually the first to find out. If you know what I mean.
True.
So.
And maybe that says something for the police to go after the person that may be the most guilty. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I wrote amazing Sarah melodrama because the way that she handles that phone call, she's just like, ah, and she has like the worst, like most horrific screams, but at the same time they're kind of funny.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's like so over the top. It's very, it reminds me of like Wild at Heart a little bit, of Diane Ladd's character, which is like so over the top.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Grace Zabriskie, she was also in that.
True.
And she just did this so like the same like kind of over the top stuff that like just made it, you know.
Just fucking kill him or whatever the fuck she says, like
fuck me now
or fuck me now. Yeah, some kind of crazy shit. But I was like, amazing Sarah melodrama. Grace Zabriskie is a true jewel. She's a gem. And what I found interesting was the shot that David Lynch chose for. It's like, it goes like at the top of where the phone is on the kitchen counter, and then it runs down the phone cord where the phone is hanging off the counter. And I feel like in his mind that was like symbolism for cutting the cord.
Whoa.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I may be wrong, but,
that.
you know, like, her daughter is gone, she's cutting the cord.
Wow.
In that way.
Deep. Yeah, no, deep. I like it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
What else? And then, so I guess it goes to the R&R, right?
Yeah.
So it cuts to the R&R.
We're back at the double R.
Is it the double R?
Yep.
Not R&R. I don't know why the fuck they call it R&R.
The sign is RR, but it's called the double R.
Why would I even call it that? All right.
You know that.
And then I wrote down Bobby is so cute. He's so cute. He was so cute.
Like 90s cute.
Like Devin Sawa.
Okay. Like, again, 90s cute.
Sorry.
No more toxicity. I'm not going to say anything worse.
Heidi is cute. Like,
oh, yeah. Heidi comes in.
For like 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And she returns in the return, right?
I think so.
That's
I never even remembered her
until
until she returned to The Return.
She was such a strange character. She was like so out of place. It's like, what is this like
who is
German
she?
chick just like
Yeah.
she's all she did was giggle too. She didn't have any lines, I don't think. She just giggled.
Mm-hmm.
It was kinda cute.
Yeah.
And then so like they have I guess Norma and Shelley who work together at the diner, which is what's her name? Madge Mick and she just passed away.
Oh God, Peggy Lipton. R.I.P. for sure. Because I mean,
she was great.
What a wonderful woman in so many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're like having a conversation about how their fucking boyfriends suck. I think essentially, right?
Yeah, because Peggy Lipton's character kind of has like a husband in jail. Shelley's dating Bobby, who
was also dating
also dating Leo. And Bobby's dating
She's married.
Laura.
She's married to Leo.
Yeah, so all that's going on, and we find this out all in the first
it's very soapy.
So it's like there's a lot to take in. I can understand like why people would be hesitant to be like, I don't know if I can handle all this because there's so much to.
There's so much plot.
Honestly, that's how I felt like the first time you showed it to me, because I had never seen it until you showed it to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I had never seen it. I was a huge David Lynch fan, but I had never seen Twin Peaks. And you showed it to me back in, I want to say like 2007 or something.
That makes sense with Santola.
Yeah. And you showed it to me, and I was just like, I didn't get it at first. Like, there was so much going on that I didn't get it. But I've watched it so many times now that I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I get this, that.
But we watched
the
Fire
other.
Walk with Me together. We were like...
True. Well, that we made the mistake of watching the movie...
I'm really happy we did that.
Series.
No, because I think I would not have been as into the series if I wouldn't have watched the movie beforehand, because the movie's so Lynchian. Yeah. Whereas the series is like a little bit not really that Lynchian, you know. It's there, but it's not like pronounced.
Because he wasn't directing and writing every episode, you know, of the original series. Which is why we got The Return, which was amazing.
Yeah,
and, like, if David Lynch had directed, then we would have got that. But
and everybody would be pissed off.
But you know what? The thing with David Lynch is that, like, you don't ever get a good conclusion or even, like, an explanation, really. It's up to you to, like, interpret it however you want and, like, just be okay with whatever Lynch is presenting you as art. And a lot of people, like, just don't like movies like that.
No, they want closure. They want to be.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with people who don't like movies like that. However, I'm someone who does like movies like that. Yeah. So, I mean, it does appeal to me.
And there are tons of people who like don't want to be like spoon fed. You know,
yeah.
Not like that. That's like a
I mean, I like things
nice
that made me think a little bit.
Yeah, or like introspective. Yeah, for sure. And it's very. It doesn't seem like that at first, but then once you watch, obviously, Fire Walk with Me and then To the Return, it's like, you know, a whole different level.
Yeah, I mean, it's like next level.
It is next
level.
But
it was made for the fans, like the true fans, the people who wanted the Lynch out of it and not like just the TV show. Like,
a lot of people were not really happy with.
Those are the people who wanted the TV show.
Yeah. Well,
so
they
that's
got
where I
a
stand.
TV show.
That's
my story,
stance,
and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
where are we at?
We are at Bobby and Shelley.
Double R.
The double R.
Shelley and Bobby are taking off.
Wait, before that, so Bobby puts on this like song.
Yeah, no, I put that down.
It's like he's like, you would think like it would be like Pearl Jam or something that he would listen to.
There's a jukebox in the diner. And he's like walking out the door.
It's like
and
a plaid shirt like tied around his waist.
Song.
Yeah, like.
But what song does he put on? Because you know.
I don't know the name of it, but it's like it's an Angelo Badalamenti.
But you know what it is.
Organ.
What I'm saying is, it's the same song from the Redskin Deer. From
Industrial Symphony.
Yes. It's the exact same song.
Yeah, I noticed like a lot of the fucking shit, the music from Industrial Symphony was in Twin Peaks, like so much.
Anyway, yeah, no, he puts on the song, and it's the same song from the Redskin Deer that was in Industrial Symphony.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting because it's a nice parallel between Wild at Heart, Industrial Symphony, and Twin Peaks.
I'm gonna switch to lozenges. just announcing
Nicotine
it.
lozenges?
Yeah, because like the vape, like it's just like I think it's probably intrusive to the microphone. Sorry about that.
Whatever you want to do,
I will.
fine.
I will. Just
I don't care.
I'll like.
I mean, if other people do care, then
I think they should be happy that I'm switching to lozenges and not doing vaping. It's nicotine's a hell of a
passion project. We do this because we love this.
Yeah, don't start smoking. And I know David Lynch is a smoker. I know this.
Right.
And
I wish he would stop because I'm like, I need you to live longer. So
maybe he's one of those people that
things.
like he'll never fucking get cancer or something. Like maybe just like one of those.
You know, not my grandma, but my grandma's sister June. She lived to be like 95 or maybe later. Maybe 98.
Wow.
And she smoked since she was 16.
Wow.
So
Wow.
you never know.
Yeah, no.
You just never know.
I don't think that
And she
happened
smoked a
like
pack a day.
Well, you just keep going, girl. I mean, I'm not going to encourage it, but I mean, your chances look a lot better than mine. That's
I'm
what I
just
would say.
saying, I don't know. I mean, I would like to quit, but like at the same time, like quitting other drugs is more important. So
Yeah, definitely.
the
Nicotine's
ones
like
that
the
fuck
last.
with the ones that fuck with your head are the ones you gotta quit.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you know what I wrote is at the double R, Shelly and Bobby take off. Bobby puts on music of the Redskin Deer on the jukebox while exiting, and says, "I'll see you in my dreams."
To Norma.
Yeah. And Norma says, "Not if I see you first."
Ooh.
And then Shelly and Bobby are drinking a flask in the car while a cop drives by them, going the opposite way.
They kind of freak out a little bit.
And then Shelly said, well, no, they don't, because Shelly says it's happy hour in France. And
Because he's like a little pick-me-up before homeroom.
yeah, well, that's what I was
Oh,
gonna
sorry,
say.
I didn't mean to
No, you're good.
Go.
Shelly said it's happy hour in France, and Bobby said a little pick-me-up before homeroom.
But he says it like in a questioning, like, he's like, are you serious? It's like the morning time.
No, he seemed pretty confident about it.
My take was like, he was like, come on. Like, and she's like, it's happy hour in France.
No, I think he was pretty into it. Alright, we can differ there.
Okay. I think he was like, what?
Like I said, Lynch is open for interpretation. So, they discover that Leo's home and he's not supposed to be there, and they freak out and turn around like almost instantly.
I see his trucks. He's a truck driver.
Yeah,
and he has like a big
and that
18-wheeler.
like 18-wheeler's like in the driveway. Or
Yeah, and she
whatever.
said he called her from some place. Butte, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty far away.
Yeah.
Which, you know, also puts him on the suspect list for the murder.
I think they were like making him a red herring for sure.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to make Leo the red herring.
I don't know, I think they were maybe
Because there
trying
were
to make
so
him the
many
killer.
red herrings with Leo.
Yeah, maybe they were trying to make him the killer, though. Do you think? Or
No, because Lynch knew all along who the killer was.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lynch always knew who the killer was, but Leo was the red herring.
I see, okay.
Because he just was like the obvious, like, asshole guy.
Yeah, that's true. He was kind of...
So...
Yeah, I wish... Which he should have just gotten in trouble for it, for being that asshole.
Anyway, they freak out, they turn around and leave. And then we get over to the coroner's office, and then basically Leland identifies Laura while he cries hysterically. You got that right?
Yeah, she said 17 years old, which is like 8 for numerology. I don't know if that's important.
Interesting.
I said like the dialogue is written very well, and it's kind of like cool that he wants to like see her. I mean, it's like just sad that he wants to see her before like she's put away, but also kind of ironic
He's like
because
he's like crying because it's the real Leland, maybe.
maybe is it a fake? Like, is he putting on an act? Like, you know, like is.
And that's even more disturbing because it's like.
It's convincing.
What if it's that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what serial killers do.
God.
Because he's technically a serial
That's
killer.
so scary.
This is his second murder, because Teresa Banks.
That's fucking scary, man.
Yeah, there are people that are a little bit crazy. That do not appear to be what they are.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, then I'm like, school.
There's the dancing guy.
Yeah, before that
Audrey.
though, like Donna's like going to her locker, and then Audrey's like sneaking a smoke.
Yeah, in
like
her
like in her locker, as if nobody's gonna smell it. She's like, "Don't tell anyone," like, even though she takes like 1 or 2 puffs of a cigarette and puts it out. And it's like anyone would notice that.
Maybe not. Maybe it's like a club. I mean, maybe they were
not
smoking.
back. Maybe not back in 1990.
Yeah, maybe they're smoking.
But they would
inside
know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People like fucking freak out of that shit now.
But anyway,
another
like
thing that caught me was like she changed out of her like cute little like whatever those black and white shoes are into red heels. Audrey like had red heels in her locker and like changed into heels, which was really cute.
So yeah, we already see that like Audrey's like the cool chick who like just like is not a troublemaker, but someone who likes to cause a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, just a little bit of drama. And she says, and then James comes up to both of them and says, "Nice day for a picnic."
Then we see the dancing guy in the hallway.
Yeah, he's like does like this weird like worm sort of.
Yeah, there's this guy who just dances across the hallway, and that's when you know, like, okay, we're watching something David Lynch right now.
You're
because
just like, oh, what is this?
Where else would this come from? At that point, we also get introduced to Donna and James because they're standing at the locker nearby Audrey, and they kind of talk a little bit because they're like, "Where's Laura?"
No, they didn't say anything about Laura.
They didn't?
Not that I remember, no.
Oh.
Then there's like Laura's not even mentioned. Like it's just like that's all found out like during the roll call. I think.
Oh. I may be wrong about that then.
Because like a police officer comes in to ask about Bobby, and then
right. I wrote Bobby gets called into the office,
and then the police officer
but his friend Mike is like, "Something's up. I'm serious," and then that's when the random girl goes screaming in the courtyard. And Donna, like, sees this through the window of her classroom and does her, like, cry face. And then James just snaps a pencil in half. Like, they both just know. Again, like the cops, like, they just know. They just know without saying anything.
And they also convey it to the audience without saying anything.
Yeah.
Which is the important part, I really think. That's really interesting.
Yeah. So, no, I think you're right, though, that the other thing comes before.
And, like, everybody, like, is so distraught by this. It's kind of ridiculous. And I thought this was, like, Laura Flynn Boyle's good point.
Well, I think it was, like, that people were trying to make it, or not people, but, like, the show was trying to make it seem like, it was such a small town that this would rock them that heavily.
I see, okay.
Yeah.
And then, what's her name? Audrey's reaction is a smile. She, like, kind of smirks a little bit. Which is, like, the only, So,
I don't know if I caught that.
Yeah. I was like, what? She was kind of, like, not like smiles, but, like, just a little bit, like...
She's always up to something.
She's always up to killing her classmates.
And so then, like, the principal announces, like, Laura Palmer's death in tears. Like, he's, like, crying, even though, like, he doesn't even know her, probably.
And then...
Because it's, like, the first and only time we ever see him.
Yeah. Like, he's not even in it. He could be in return and nobody would notice. It's really sad.
Yeah.
So the police are interviewing Bobby. I have that as well before.
Yeah, Hawk and Andy interview Bobby in the library as the first suspect.
And it's the principal is there too, and wrote that his acting was pretty good. Like their acting's good.
Yeah,
solid.
I would agree.
And then he gets arrested, and he like fights the police while being arrested, and I don't think he understands why. I mean, like he knows that she was murdered, but I think like it takes him a while to get that he's a suspect.
Yeah.
And then like
I mean he denies it, and he's also surprised to find out.
He seems like surprised.
Yeah,
and he's like, "Wait, you think I did
it?"
He's
like, "What?"
Yeah,
like he's like, first of all, I didn't know she was dead, and second of all, I know I didn't do it.
It's like clear. And then after the principal makes the announcement, there's like the like display shelf of like the trophy shelf with like Laura Palmer's like face on it.
The homecoming queen.
So, I mean, she was beloved. That reminds me of like junior high for some reason. I can like vividly picture like I don't know. Actually, it was like JG, like intermediate school.
I remember that actually.
I can like picture,
Stop taking me back to bad memories.
It's just a
I'm
memory.
just joking.
It's not
I'm
funny
just
anymore.
joking.
It's not funny.
No, I actually do remember it.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back at the Palmer house now with Grace Zabriskie. Laura Zabriskie?
Yeah, Grace Zabriskie.
Zabriskie. She's on the couch, like, freaking out. Like, she just can't even. Just can't.
Yeah, she's just
not
distraught.
Not good.
Yeah.
And she was like, I last saw Laura at 9 p.m. She was going up the stairs, which reminded me of the Under the Fan Now quote. And then she hears footsteps, and she's like, who's upstairs? And, what else? She said, I can tell from the sounds it isn't hers.
Yeah.
And it's like obviously it's the police officers, like, investigating, and they found a diary, and they're like, we can't find the key for this fucking piece of paper, cardboard diary. Like, we can't open this thing.
Right. How do we get this thing open? Yeah, right? Like, so we're dealing with definitely eccentric people here.
Yeah,
but,
it was kind of funny. So, yeah, okay, so there was also a camcorder found by Hawk.
Yeah.
Oh, and Leland was like, do you have to take that about the diary? He was like, do you have to take that?
Yeah,
like,
okay. Before we get there, let me, I feel like I have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, please.
Before that
he was, like,
happens.
super inquisitive.
So, back at Sarah, she talks to Haywood, Doc Haywood and Truman while she's in a state of shock. Hawk takes the diary and camcorder into evidence. And he gets a call that Roberta Pulaski is also missing.
Oh, yeah. Renette.
Renette Pulaski. Yeah, sorry, I read it. My autocorrect did it wrong. Yeah. And so,
okay, that was right after that. So the camcorder was found.
Josie shuts down the mill. Did you write that one?
Yeah, so I have. Okay. So the camcorder was found.
Okay.
Then Laura's phone rang once, but Grace was like, she's like, Laura's mom was like, I don't know who it was. And then there was a phone call that Yanette Pulaski's daughter didn't come home or go to school, and like nobody noticed this. Like at school, like it kind of was shocking that nobody noticed that. Right. They're like, oh, by the way. So...
No one cares about the brunette who's less pretty.
She is the dancing queen.
We gotta care about the blonde who's prettier.
It's the 90s.
It's the 90s.
It's the 90s. It's all about that whole weird fucking racial thing. Oh, Jesus. So, they're at the sawmill, the Packard sawmill, which is the Ghostwood Estates thing that Ben Horn was talking about earlier.
Yeah, right. And it's also where we've got Joan Chen, who was in the opening scene, who is the owner. And then we've got Pete, who discovered the body, who is the husband of the woman who's the manager. And
her brother was the guy who owned the mill.
Yeah, Josie Packard.
Yeah, who was married to Josie.
Yeah, no. Josie Packard has that connection. But Pete's married to...
Catherine Martell, yeah.
Yeah, Catherine Martell.
And
basically Catherine Martell is telling Josie, don't shut down the mill, like, just because there's a case of mourning happening right now.
Well, because, the worker, Renette Pulaski, her dad worked at the mill. So that's why they shut it down. It's because,
didn't know that.
That guy's his daughter was missing, so, we're going to shut down the mill. Okay. And then also Laura Palmer said, so they're, going to shut it down.
But it was against Catherine's wishes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. There's, this big, rivalry between Catherine and Josie because, of Andrew Packard, which is Catherine's brother, Josie's dead ex-husband.
Okay, see, this is all shit I didn't know.
You didn't? What?
No, I never put this together. It's like I said, it's a soap opera where you, don't even fucking know things about it.
It goes deep.
Okay.
So
shit. Okay.
Okay. So yeah,
that was one of the stories that I always kind of snored on a little bit because I just didn't care that much.
I don't know. I have a low tolerance. I have a high tolerance for.
I mean, that was one of the stories I didn't care about.
And I like Josie's always saying they're wrong. She's obviously ESL. and she's always saying the wrong phrases. It's cute, but it's also kind of not cute in today's world. But she like says, "Push the plug," instead of "pull the plug."
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cute. And then like as soon as she shuts down the mill, Josie does.
Yeah.
And Catherine just like walks out and like fires some guy. Just like randomly, she's just like,
yeah,
"You're
she's
fired."
like, "Fuck you," because he like just spoke to her or something.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Bitch," and then the scene ends.
Yeah, right.
It was like, wow. So she's channeling some Carrie.
And then that's when we finally see a tattered Ronette that's walking across like this like abandoned train bridge.
Yeah. Yep.
Which I actually had the opportunity to see in Seattle. When I was there.
Oh,
because it's really close to the
cool.
filming locations of like the Double R and all that stuff.
Did you go eat there and all that?
Tilda. Sorry. Yeah, I did.
How was it?
April and I did.
How was the food?
We didn't get the cherry pie. We probably should have.
What the fuck?
I don't want to say the food was bad or nothing, but it wasn't anything special.
Yeah, it was like a diner.
It was what it was.
Touristy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see like Ronette, she's walking along the bridge all tattered. And then
I have tattered written down too.
And then James rides his motorcycle up to his dad at Big Ed's Gas to tell him the news about Laura. And he says she was the one. So James gives Ed a note for Donna if he sees her. Nadine screams at Ed from the house about having the drapes up by nightfall.
Yeah. She's like, "I want those drapes up by nightfall."
I need them up by nightfall.
And then there's a car, and then it cuts to our favorite person, everybody's favorite fucking character, Dale Cooper, who's played by Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
Enter Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
And everything changes.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's talking to a...
How'd you write it? I'm curious.
I said car. Kyle talking to a voice recorder. Diane. Play-by-play of everything he's doing, even lunch. Harry S. Truman. A clean place, reasonably priced. Got to find out what kind of trees these are. That's all I have written down.
You got more than I did. Alright, that's cool. I wrote, Dale's entering the town of Twin Peaks. And then in quotes, as W.C. Fields said, I'd rather be here than Philadelphia. Tells Diane about his lunch in detail.
Lunch? We got the lunch. So we
but
we
also
had details
there was the
about
Philly
lunch.
reference.
That's in detail.
Because Lynch used to live in Philadelphia.
Oh.
And he was like, I'd rather be here than Philadelphia.
Ooh.
So it was like a little like commentary.
Oh wow, is it that bad in Philly?
I don't know, I've never been,
been to
but
Philly.
I mean, the TV show would tell me that it's probably that bad.
It's always sunny.
Because they're terrible characters on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. He's really interesting. He's always talking to that like voice, the tape recorder.
He's got a tape recorder. Her name's Diane. I guess this is the person that he reports to, who we never actually see until season 3.
Yes, and so then it goes to the hospital, and
Cooper and Truman meet at the hospital.
Yes, he's glad to have the FBI there. He says, which is like a very it's a good change from Fire Walk with Me, where like they weren't so happy to have the FBI there.
Right, yeah, they were definitely not cool in that
Or
town.
the X-Files.
When they were investigating Teresa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Coop is serious about the FBI being in charge. He's like, this is like the hierarchy of things. And then he was like, like the FBI is in charge here. By the way, what kind of trees do you have?
Yeah.
Just like
smell those Douglas
like
firs.
a change. Just like, what are these trees? And like his like, you don't know.
Everything's just so like bizarre about it.
It's bizarre.
Just like
Yeah.
like
How bizarre.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Yeah, I wrote Cooper and Truman meet at the hospital, unable to interview Ronette, who is out of it.
Oh, it says Douglas firs. The trees are Douglas firs. I don't want to add this
okay.
stuff. Sorry.
Who is out of it and just doesn't go there.
She was raped several times.
We do meet Dr. Jacoby, who's a goofball, and he says to Del Cooper, Laura was his patient, her parents didn't know, and then he started laughing about it. So that was another red herring.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that written down. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. But like, okay, sorry. Before that, Coop looks at her fingers.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then also the one-armed man steps out of the elevator. before Jacoby introduces himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, did you say that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. He's like, this guy's a psychologist.
Or, yeah, he's like, is he a psychiatrist? He's like, yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
All my lighters are dying.
I brought this one for y'all.
Thank you.
No problem. Sure.
Okay, so, anyway, yeah, they're in the morgue, right? Is that where we're at?
Yes. So
After we meet Dr. Jacoby.
Yeah. So he finds a letter under her nail of the ring finger.
Yeah. But what I thought was more interesting about that scene was the fact that the lights were flickering off and on.
That's like a common thing with his stuff. In the world, like in
but
Twin Peaks, for
they
sure.
make a mention of it, which is cool. Like, they acknowledge it. But yeah, it's something that's very, like, stylistic.
What did they say about that?
The mention actually comes later on, so
Okay.
it's probably in my notes. But anyway, yeah, their lights are flickering inside the morgue. Inside, Laura's fingernail has the letter R inside of it. They pull it out with, like, tweezers or something.
Yeah, it's like a tiny little...
And
like,
that's how the FBI is able to connect it to the Teresa Banks case, because she also had a letter that was lodged in her fingernail.
Was it tea?
Probably.
Can I buy a tea? Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm distasteful. And so then after that, we'll go to...
Big Ed and Donna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she talks to Ed. She said to meet at the Roadhouse at 9:30. She says that to James, I think, or...
No. Donna goes to Big Ed's because she was hoping that he might know where James is. And he's like, I don't, but he told me to give you this letter. And the letter says, meet me at the Roadhouse at 9:30.
I totally didn't
Or
know
after
that.
9:30.
Okay.
So, at that point, Mike, Donna's boyfriend, comes up like, why the fuck aren't you going to the police station to get Bobby out? Like,
yeah.
And then Big Ed's like, get out of here, you know?
And, she's like, I sure know how to pick him. And then Nadine, like, gets mad.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
well, I know how to pick him, too.
Yeah,
And
because
then-
Nadine's still shouting about the drapes again.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's
Yeah.
good times. And then it goes to the sheriff's office. And they still don't have a key for they're still, like, discussing how to get into the fucking diary. And so Coop's like... He just breaks it open, which is like what everybody's thinking. It's just why
it's
don't you
like, just break the
just
fucking
break it
diary open.
Just break it open. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of funny. And
like, it's not a padlock.
and then so he starts like scrolling through the pages, and
Yeah.
like I think he went to like her death date, and it was like meeting Jay
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
And-
she wrote in her diary that they finally opened that said, nervous about meeting Jay tonight.
It's about meeting Jay tonight,
And that becomes a lead.
and yeah.
Then they find a Coke baggie and a safety deposit box key in in the same diary.
Yeah, there's like, he said it's going to test positive for cocaine, and the sheriff's like, no way.
Because he was like, Laura wasn't like that, and he was like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
So,
Choctaw High
yeah,
School.
she had a Coke baggie and a key in there, so
And
do your
then
math.
they're kind of just going through the evidence, and then the next like line is like, Diane, I'm holding in my hand a small box of chocolate bunnies.
I wrote the exact same thing.
Cuts.
I was like, they find a Coke baggie and a safety deposit keys in the diary. Diane, I'm holding I'm holding in my hand a small box of chocolate bunnies.
Cut.
Which they actually make a reference to in season 3, which is even funnier.
I know. It's so awesome.
Because it's just like, what?
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Because it has nothing to do with anything.
I know, but that's the brilliance of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's obvious. It's obviously
Yeah.
placed there for a fucking reason.
Totally.
And the reason was season 3. No, we know now.
Yeah.
so-
Do you have Andy calling Lucy?
I have, let's see, tons of scenes in the pilot of introductory stuff, but it's not too slow. Okay, Lucy gets the phone. Tell Harry we have found where they were taken. So Andy calls Lucy.
Yeah, so Andy calls Lucy and he's crying, and he's basically telling her that we found the crime scene at this train car. And so, like, he's crying, and it's cute because he's a police officer and she's a weirdo, and so, like, together they just make together they
It's
work.
adorable. They do.
And so, yeah, he's crying because, like, it's so horrible, you know. And, like, it's something that you would never see a police officer do on any, like, primetime show.
Yeah.
Where they're, like, crying that someone died.
They found, like, a murder scene. It's not even, like, they didn't even find a body. It's, like, a murder scene. It's, like, not even, like, a dead person there. He's just, like, crying because there's, like, blood or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
and then what really struck me was he was, like, crying. He was like, tell Harry I didn't cry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was just, like...
It was cute and funny at the same time.
And she's really touched that he was emotional.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cute.
And then, like, Harry and Cooper interview Bobby with this... Bobby has a lawyer now. And they grill him, but, you know, after they grill him, Cooper's basically like, it's not him. Like, he tells Sheriff Truman this. Like, I don't think it's him. And so...
Wait, but he talks about the video. There's a video first.
Yeah, and I said they watched video of Laura and Donna dancing to see if he's the one behind the camera.
There's like a picnic. They're them dancing at a picnic, like out, like in the wilderness.
They're off like by like a cliff or something, just dancing around. And he's like, I know it's not him.
Well, he's like really like you can tell in his eyes that he didn't shoot the video because like he's
watching
like,
the video for the first time.
Yeah, like he's surprised, like super surprised, for sure. And then he says, he's like, Cooper said, like, you know, did you know Laura was seeing somebody else? And he's like, look how happy she is. And then he asks, like, did you ever do cocaine with Laura? And he, like, kind of freaks out. He was like, no, like, I don't know. He's just really defensive about everything.
Yeah.
And, he said he didn't, he, like, types out on the calculator, like, he didn't do it. Like, he had, like, a little calculator that said, like, he didn't do it. He turns towards Harry S. Truman.
By the way, because I feel like this is going on long, we should probably mention the pilot is 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it's an hour.
It's literally the length of a movie.
Yeah.
So
no, I figured
just know that, everybody.
This is going to be a long episode.
Just know that, everybody. It's the length of a movie. That's why we're like going through so much.
And
yeah.
Then he said the first initial is J, and he also said you didn't love her anyway. And then like they let Bobby go.
Yeah.
And then
Audrey.
Poking a hole.
She fucks with the Norwegians.
Yeah, no, she's like poking a hole in a styrofoam cup with the concierge. And pulls it out and like coffee goes...
She's bored, she's rich.
And coffee goes all over the desk. Something that struck me about the scene was like the lady was like, you know, doing work on a desk with like papers. And so, you know, back in the day, like paper is pretty like valuable. Like if you're doing work on paper, you don't want it to be messed up. So whenever like Audrey pulls the pencil out of the styrofoam cup and like coffee goes everywhere, the concierge like mops it up with the paper that she's working on.
It shows
like,
that Audrey's a brat.
Yeah, but it's also like odd that like the concierge would like use paper that she's writing on to like wipe up the coffee that spilled because that's probably some, you know, paperwork that she needs.
Right.
So it's kind of strange that she didn't like get towels or something instead of like using the paperwork that she was writing on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another Lynchian weirdness, you know.
Yeah, it was really strange.
So,
okay, Bob. Okay, Bob.
Wait,
also, that's what Audrey says whenever like. She says that to the concierge whenever...
Does she?
Whenever, yeah. Whenever...
Okay, I missed this.
Whenever a guy comes in to tell like the lady something, and she's like, okay, and then Audrey says like, no, okay, Bob, okay, like that's what you should say to her. Yeah, that's what the guy say back in the day. Yeah,
I never got that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Interesting.
But she says it like that. She's like, okay, Bob, okay.
Wow.
Like, it was really strange.
Wow, Bob, wow. Okay.
Okay, Bob, okay.
Yeah.
And then she crashes the Norwegian smorgasbord.
Yeah, the Norwegians were having like a big demonstration about the land that you know, Benjamin Horne and Leland Palmer plan to purchase because they believe that the Packard mill is going to shut down, and because it's no longer profitable. And Audrey fucks with the Norwegians by, like, going in there, and there's, like, comical music playing while she does it.
Yeah, it
and
is.
she's, like, discussing, like, how, like, my friend's murdered body was found, like, in a river and all this stuff. But, like, she's doing it to scare all the Norwegians off.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And, oh yeah, like, the music sounds like Take Me Out to the Ball Game a little bit. And she had, like, Lydia vibes.
It's just strange.
It was really fucking weird. And so then it, like, switches back to the sheriff's office, and Mike and Bobby, they're, like, waiting on Bobby. And Bobby, like, was like, I know who it is. We're looking for some freaking biker. And Mike's like, what's his name? Which is, like, it's kind of like, come on, man, you don't know who it is.
Yeah, Bobby gets out and tells Mike, we got to bust whoever the cops are looking for, a biker called Jay. Mm-hmm. And then Donna gets interrogated and refuses to reveal who took video of Laura and her dancing.
Yeah, it was kind of strange that she wouldn't just, like, tell her the truth. Or tell them the truth, you know, just tell them.
Well, she was trying to protect James.
Yeah, but, like, James didn't, I mean, yeah.
James is always cool.
James is the one. He's the one.
Anyway, yeah, so, like, it's kind of strange that, like, Mike and Bobby don't know who the biker name
Jay is.
But maybe that's just like a pilot episode thing where they hadn't fully planned that out.
Possible. And then it's like, I also wrote that it's crazy that, like, the high school kids are so wrapped up in their world that they won't even tell the FBI, like, the truth about Laura's affair. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of strange.
Yeah.
And then, so...
Particularly Donna.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's her best friend stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so, Lucy and Harry go to talk to Coop.
Yeah,
or Lucy and Hawk?
Lucy tells Cooper that she eavesdropped on Mike and Bobby and that they're looking for a biker named Jay.
But he, like, beats her to the punch. To
Cooper,
everything.
And I wrote, Cooper already knows because he noticed in Laura's eye in the video a reflection of a motorcycle.
Which is really grainy. Like, come on. Like, if you zoom in that much.
No, but isn't that cool at the same time?
It's cool, but it's like also, like, pixels weren't, like, it's not like, you know.
Yeah,
like
he wouldn't have been able to do that in
it's
1980
not possible.
or 1990 or whatever. But,
just
like,
not possible.
He did it in the show.
It did it in this show.
And then there's the whole, the Norwegians are leaving, like, by the concierge. Because Audrey fucked with them.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah. And then after that, Coop and Harry investigate the train car. And that's where they find, like, blood and, like, have a heart necklace pendant.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. The Norwegians are leaving. I remember, like, the conversation between Ben Horn and, like, the main, like, Norwegian guy.
Yeah.
He says, everyone have a gun. Not good. That just couldn't be more relevant.
This show still speaks volumes to this day. Let me tell you. Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, we're back. So
Coop and Harry investigate the train car, blood, and there's half a necklace heart pendant, and a paper written in blood that says "Fire Walk with Me," which is where the movie got its title.
There's, like, blood, and, like, I have written down, like, man, with DNA testing, the show would have ended in the pilot. It's kind of true.
Right?
So they have the Fire Walk with Me in the mound of the dirt, like the...
Well, okay, so James is holding the other half of the necklace that they saw in the video.
Oh, yeah. He's just, like, outside in the forest.
He buries it with Donna. But that actually comes...
That's later.
That comes with later, yeah.
Yeah, so no, then...
Yeah,
So
but
it's
they,
just, like, James...
they show James just being, like... Oh. Like, all sad. Like...
Then it goes to...
Then the Horns have dinner.
And so, yeah, like, at the Great Northern, do they live there, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's, like, banging noises while Audrey and her mom are, like, trying to eat. And it's, like, tea and crumpets or something. Uh-huh. And, like, so Audrey's brother, Johnny's, like, banging his head on this, like, dollhouse. His mom's, like, you know, like, tell Laura, or tell Johnny, Laura's not coming back. She's not coming back ever. Like, what's so hard to understand about that?
Yeah. Like, she's so, like...
We forgot to mention, he's mentally disabled.
He's mentally disabled, and she's so, like, dismissive of this fact. Like where it's clear.
Yeah.
Like, I wrote, the Horns have dinner while Johnny bangs his head into a dollhouse. He's sad because Laura isn't coming to work with him as a volunteer.
Yeah.
His mom is like, what is so difficult to understand about that? And I'm like, well, what the hell?
Let me tell you why.
So, anyway.
Yeah,
and then after that, Cooper and Harry finally get to the bank and open that safety deposit box with the key from the diary.
A deer head on the table, right?
I think so,
There's like just a deer head on the table. And like the lady's like, sorry, it fell down.
That's Twin Peaks.
Oh, it fell down.
So yeah, Cooper and Harry open the safety deposit box. Inside they find $10,000, a Flesh World magazine, and a marked page. And then Coop looks at Harry like a pervy teen. Like, as he turns to it. Yeah, like, he's like... Hey. Alright, are you ready for this page? Like, yeah. It's really weird.
It's really weird. It's like really off character.
And then they find Ronette's, like, you know, like, escort ad inside.
Oh my god. And he's like, just like so creepy, like,
he's like, are you ready to look at it? I was like, I felt like it was kind of a throwback to Blue Velvet, because it was like, I don't know.
It was almost like
I don't know if you're a detective or a pervert, which is what Laura Dern said.
Oh yeah, it was also a throw forward to striptease.
Showgirls.
Showgirls.
Yeah.
Same difference by far. Yeah. Sorry. I meant to say showgirls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it was really weird. And then, like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Ronette Pulaski in that picture looks a lot like Lucy. Because I saw it and I was like, is that Lucy? Like, she
didn't catch that.
She looked like so much like Lucy in that, yeah, from IMO. I was like, what? And then then he was like, it's Ronette. And I was like,
yeah.
That makes that makes a lot more sense. And then, so it goes to Leo's
house.
This is the first time we see Leo.
Yeah.
Was Eric DeRay.
Hilarious 90s hair.
Yeah, he's cute.
It's all like curly.
But he's not. He's like cute but not cute. He's like cute if he was in a band or something.
Whatever. All right. I don't think he was cute then. I don't think he's cute now.
Again, back and rolling. Okay.
So yeah, Leo, who's married to Shelley, demands that Shelley turn off the news about Ronette while she's watching the local news on television. And then he goes off on her for not sticking to her regular cigarette brand after finding a strange butt in the ashtray.
Yeah.
And then he got on to her and was like, you only smoke one brand from now on or I'll snap your neck like a twig. Yeah.
He's so cute. No.
But isn't that hilarious? He's like, whose cigarettes are these? You know.
But also, like, while we find out what he's been doing this entire time, and he's like so controlling like that, like, it's
we actually haven't found that out until we saw the movie.
Yeah, I guess that's true. We don't even find
everything's
out. Everything's
a mystery.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we haven't found that out. But
spoiler: he's the killer.
He's not. All right.
I know. Spoiler: he's not the killer.
All right, and then Norma calls Big Ed and asks if she can meet him, and feels bad about the news. And he calls her sweetheart.
They want to meet at the Roadhouse. Not that.
Yeah, she's like, "Can we meet at the Roadhouse?" And they love each other, even though like they're both married.
Yeah,
basically.
like they're like, you know, childhood sweethearts, and they both like married the wrong people. And then Nadine is like,
she's testing her drapes over and over in the meantime.
And closing them. Yeah, like she's just like,
yeah, like she takes her drapes very seriously.
She likes the drapes, you know. Yeah, you just. And then there's.
So that happens.
So then there's like the snowshoe rabbit.
Okay,
I don't know. Like, I just have that written down, but I know that's
snowshoe rabbit.
Yeah, there's like, I think there's like a dialogue between Cooper and Harry about like what is that like bunny over there, and it's like the snowshoe rabbit.
Okay, it might be part of like, because I wrote Sheriff Truman is filling in Cooper about the various townspeople before their press conference, because they're seeing all these people appearing before them.
It was during that
and
scene.
so it was like kind of like a way for the show to be like introducing all these different characters.
It's really smart.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So Truman's like filling in Cooper about different people. I don't know about the bunny thing.
He asks about like what kind of hair. I saw like a hair or something, I'm pretty sure. And he's like, it's a snowshoe rabbit. And he's like, snowshoe rabbit. Like his like expressions are kind of crazy.
And I actually think they mentioned that again at some point, which is interesting, but I don't know.
Anyway,
when the conference starts, the log lady's like flipping the light switch on and off, like and shushing everyone at the same time, and being very like angry about it, like everyone shut up.
Well, no, I remember like Cooper also saying like, "Who's the babe?" which is very out of character. I think
he didn't say who's the babe.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna have to discuss that one on the next episode, because I'm almost positive he did not say that.
We can look it up right now.
I mean, no, we'll discuss it later.
Who's the babe? Mrs. Packard. It's Josie. Andrew
Oh,
Packard's...
no, I thought you were talking about the log lady.
Why would he say...
I was like, why would he say that?
She's lovely.
Who's the babe?
No.
Oh, yeah, he does say that about Josie. Sorry.
That's out of character.
No, okay.
Yeah, and it's like Mrs. Packard, Josie,
No, I thought he was talking
Packard.
the log lady.
Who's the babe? It's the babe is my log.
Like this angry woman flipping on and off a light switch.
This is my babe. Yeah.
Who's the babe? Alright, continue.
They talk about how Andrew Packard died, which is very important. They died in a boating accident, and he owns the mill, so it's basically her mill. So Catherine, it explains why Catherine and her hate each other, basically, or have this weird relationship. And then he also says like Ben Horn owns half of the town, and then he's like, "Who's the lady with the log?" And he's like, "The log lady."
Or he says, yeah, we call her the log lady. It was just like, alright.
Okay.
Alright. Okay.
That's how it goes there. And the mayor's like, is this thing on?
Yeah, so the mayor gets up and he's just like completely deaf and old, and
he just couldn't deal with it.
Like, didn't know what he was doing. And he was just like tapping the microphone, and he was like, is this thing on? And then like they kind of like, I think, like, Truman and Cooper kind of, like, push him aside, like, you know, politely, to be like, just sit down.
I like to, like, think that they, like, smother him with, like chloroform, and then just, like, take over the conference.
And that, at which point, Cooper gives some details about the Teresa Banks case, and why the FBI is involved, because they believe the same killer attacked Laura Palmer and Ronette Pulowski.
And you also said that there's a curfew.
They put a curfew, and they warn people not to let this turn into a witch hunt.
Yeah. And then it goes to the Hayward household?
Yep. Right before that, we get a shot of the stoplight that's going from yellow to red. And that stoplight shows up a lot in, like, transitional pieces of within the show, so I feel like it means a little bit of something, maybe. But then, later at Doc Haywood's house, which is Donna, that's her parents, he's talking to his wife, Eileen, who's in a wheelchair, which is also completely random. Yeah. Like, they never explain it. She's just in a wheelchair.
Yeah. I mean, but should I have to?
I guess it's like, okay, representation, but, like, maybe an explanation would be nice.
Representation without explanation.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, you can look at it in so many ways, and I'm still learning. But anyway, his wife Eileen's in a wheelchair, and wants to know about the case so far. And Donna's eavesdropping on like Doc and Eileen, while
come on, Eileen.
Doc tells Eileen like everything that he knows. And so, Donna sneaks out of her sister Harriet's bedroom window, But not before, she says. Yeah.
Do you prefer the blossom of the evening or the full flower of the evening?
Yes.
And I'm like curious what that means. Like, was she like asking about like how the evening is, or she's like writing something?
She was writing poetry,
okay.
And so she was like, "What do you prefer, blossom or full flower of the evening?"
I love that line. It really like is cute.
It was so great because it was just like it really like. Kind of like lightened the mood because it was really dark for a second there.
It was cute, and like her sister sounds really stoned. Like
I think she just is like poetic and
just,
like beatnik a little bit, like hippy dippy.
And then she convinces Harriet is her name, to cover for her, and then she sneaks out of the house, like you said. So and then. She borrows her sister's bike and then tells her not to forget to brush her teeth. And then all of a sudden she's like, actually, now that some time has passed, I prefer the full blossom of the evening.
Which is actually the correct choice.
It's really good,
it's
I
like
like the full blossom.
I would prefer blossom over you trying to use alliteration on something that just
flower.
Doesn't work.
Full flower? What doesn't that even mean?
Well, it was her deciding between, like, what flows best and...
What's
using
real?
an alliteration.
Yeah.
So.
I like that.
I don't know. Maybe we're like examining it too much.
No, that's a good. I mean, is there any sort of thing with David Lynch?
I don't know.
I think that's the point. And then she's like petting a stuffed animal. I think though for a second.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I thought she was like. I thought she was petting a dog, and then like it just wasn't moving, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And so, and then Mike and Bobby show up, and So this is really, like, I watched this again the other night, and it really kind of, like, struck me because I didn't notice this. But Bobby calls Mike Snake. He's like, Snake.
I didn't notice that before either until rewatching it.
It's like, what does it mean? Snake.
I don't know. I guess that was his nickname.
Snake. And so
but,
Mike,
it wasn't, like, a thing that really...
ever came out, ever. In
stood out in any certain way.
This is never mentioned ever again.
It's never turned into, like, a mystical thing that usually happens in Twin Peaks.
And then he says, don't take any oink oink off that pretty pig.
That I did not know.
So Bobby says that to Mike as he walks up to, like, the door.
You told me that.
And then Mike's like, he's like, yeah, I won't, or like some sort of reaction about that sentence, and then that is like, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if Snake and Pretty Pig, oink oink, like, sort of have anything to do with each other.
Which I never ever picked up on before.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it until I watched it the other day. It was kind of strange. And there was no other mention of, I don't know, maybe, okay, so, what happens? So Mike, knocks on the door, and Dr. Haywood answers, and they ask for Donna, of course, and Donna's like, she's upstairs getting ready for bed, and so he goes to check on her, and Harriet's like, okay, Dad, I'm going to tell it to you, and I'm going to tell it to you straight.
Yeah.
And, she's like, see that window? And, like, points to it. It was really cute.
Yeah, no.
And,
she basically says it all right there.
And she says she's like the best laid plans of mice and men. Before the dad comes up.
She's such a poet. The best laid plans of mice and men. But yeah, she basically points to the window so the dad knows, like, oh, she ran out of your window.
And he's like, later. He says later.
We're going to talk later.
Later.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Mike, Donna's...
Mike's still at the doorstep.
He tells Mike that she snuck out. He's like, oh, we'll find her.
Meanwhile, Bobby is surfing on top of the car hood
like this,
while drinking like a tall boy.
Yeah, and it's like, and then even Dr. Haywood's like, you guys are drinking and driving, and Mike's all like, well, we're all a little bit torn up, and he's like, well, by the way,
but we'll find her.
He's like, Bobby's doing most of the driving.
Like, we'll go.
Bobby's like fucked up.
Yeah,
obviously.
It's like we'll find her, even though we're surfing on the car hood, like while drinking beer.
They did find her.
Because he was like, Roadhouse, let's go.
Let's go to Roadhouse.
Because he knew that it was going to be there.
That's the only place that's
But it's like, is that the person you want finding your daughter?
Yeah, it's really strange that he told him about that. I thought it was like, why are you telling this, like,
I would be like,
creepy dude?
Stay the fuck away from her.
I wouldn't even tell him that she snuck out if I was her dad. It would just not be A smart thing
It just
to
wouldn't
do.
be a deal.
And I thought it was weird. So, like, Doc Hayward calls Harry Truman.
Yeah.
And
To let them know what's up.
but I'm also like, isn't there like a 48-hour like missing persons window in this whole
It's
thing?
a small town where, like, because there was just a murder, I think that it's like they're taking
It's
everything
okay.
extra seriously because the kids need to be home by curfew.
I see. Okay. And so, I think what's his
Sorry,
name?
I'm smoking
Oh
so
yeah.
much, but I'm just
What's his name?
having a day.
Cooper says like, you know, how, of course she snuck out. How else is she gonna lead us to that biker?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a row of bikes outside the bar, and I didn't never notice until like watched it the other day. Like the Bang Bang Bar was like multiple buildings in the same lot.
Yeah, there were like 2 different buildings.
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
Two
There's like
different
the small one and the big one.
Yeah, so I thought
the
it was
big
like
one
the
has
small one.
the Bang
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 Bang.
bar on it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It might have been a
Well,
speakeasy.
speaking of, Laura Palmer's house was actually different in the series and the film. So, like, the exterior shot was 2 different houses.
I slightly remember that, but not enough to like actually. Wow. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's good to know. Huh.
Fun fact.
That is very fun.
Yeah.
And then so where are we at?
Let's see.
Julie
They're
Cruz.
they're at the, yeah.
Julie fucking
Julie Cruz. Give it up. She is like seeing the Twin Peaks theme falling in a biker bar.
And people are digging it?
The Roadhouse. And it's hilarious because, like, you think they'd be listening to, like, Steppenwolf or something. Or Leonard Skinner. And she's playing this, like, really, like, beautiful, like... synth pop
ambient,
chill. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to call it. New age?
Angelic music.
Yeah.
That you would never hear at a biker bar.
I mean...
And people are, like, just fine with it. Like, they're acting like they don't even know.
They're
like,
paying attention.
They're paying attention, and they're also,
Very
like, acting
lucky.
like this is not normal.
But that is normal. They're like, this is...
In their world, it's normal.
Yeah. This is exactly what we do
to,
every
like,
Friday.
reality, it's
Wednesday.
not.
And it's not normal. Oh, yeah, like, yeah, I guess IRL, yeah. And, so you see, like, Norma and Ed talking.
Yeah, they meet up.
And they're asking each other when they're gonna leave, like, their lovers.
Yeah, well, they started out big. Like, I think Norma's, like, asking him how's Nadine been or something, and Big Ed's like, so I've been hanging drapes. Lots of them.
And then, you know, she's like, when are you gonna leave Hank? Which is her husband,
Yeah,
who's
he
in
asked
jail.
when she's gonna leave Hank.
And he's like, parole's got a nasty ring to it when your sweetheart's husband's in jail for murder or manslaughter. Yeah,
Manslaughter.
Manslaughter.
But
That's
she
a different
reassures
word.
him that she wants to be with him.
She's like, I'm gonna do what's best for both of us.
Yeah.
I remember this. I don't have this written down. I remember this because I just watched it.
And her husband is a dick, as we find out later in the series.
Yeah, sad. What else is new?
And then don't Mike and Bobby find Donna there?
Yeah, so this is the weird thing that happens. So let me make sure I'm the right part. Another thing is Julie Cruz is dressed as a biker, which is really weird.
Yeah.
And then it goes to back to Cooper and fucking Harry in the car, and he's
Because
like,
they're doing a stakeout.
yeah, they're doing a stakeout, and there's like, do you know,
Yeah.
like Cooper's just like whittling like wood.
Yeah.
And he's like, do you know why?
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
whittling? And he's like, this is what people do, like in a town where yellow means slow down, not speed up, or something like that. Some sort of.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
cute enough.
I forgot about that, but I remember it now that you told me.
And then, so they see Mike and Bobby like go into the bar, and then they said like something's about to go down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so when Mike and Bobby enter, the guy who drives Donna out says like, Mutt and Jeff just crawled in, like in referencing Mike and Bobby.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked this up. It's like a newspaper cartoon.
Really?
Yeah. And I have a
shit.
factoid on this. which I
Wait,
wrote down.
okay, yeah, give me details.
Okay, from Wikipedia. So August Mutt is a tall, dim-witted racetrack character, a fanatic horse race gambler who is motivated by greed.
Wow.
And he has a wife, only as Mrs. Mutt, yada, yada, yada. And then, so Jet he first encountered the half-pint Jeff, an inmate of an insane asylum who shares his passion for horse racing. In 1908 is when everything started.
David Lynch has the strangest references.
Well, he's like old.
I love it though.
Yeah, so
no, I love
I
it.
guess so the guy's like Joey, whatever his name is, Joey something or other is like the character's name, who says like, so hey something. I forgot the fucking character's name. He's like, hey whatever, Scotty, like Mutt and Jeff just walked in, and it was in reference to Bobby and Mike, and yeah, so.
Okay. I never ever knew about that.
Yeah, so
you're just full of facts tonight.
I just have
I love
computer.
It. No.
I like Wikipedia is fun.
I mean, yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know. So the bar is like totally like a nicotine trigger. And I'm like, where's my vape? I wrote that down.
All I wrote was Mike and Bobby find Donna there at the roadhouse while Cooper and Harry are staking out the bar.
Oh, and then the guy says...
Then they call for backup. A fight breaks out, but Julie Cruz's The Nightingale continues to play, LOL.
Yeah. While they're fighting.
This is, like, as this fight's breaking out inside of a biker bar, it's like she's playing this beautiful song, like The Nightingale. Yeah. And, like, they don't even stop the song for the fight.
And then, like, I remember, the dialogue, like, somebody says, like, lights out, Mr. Monkey Wrench. Like, and in regards to Ed, because he has, it's a mechanic. Like, it was just, like, ridiculous. And then, and so after the fight, or during the fight, the biker, Joey something or other, and Donna take off. And so I think we all
yeah, because he was like, come with me, Donna, I'll take you to James.
That's right. And then Coop and Harry follow them because they're staking them out. Mm-hmm. And it cuts back to
then the fight scene continues. Yeah. It just keeps going. And you're like, wait, do we need to see this again? Okay. I didn't know.
Like, it's still going on in case you're wondering. So they're like, they think they spotted us, and then like fucking, I think Coop's like, give me a donut.
Yeah, they actually lose them while looking for a donut. They were following the biker and Donna, and then they lose her looking for a donut. At which point, they have the iconic quote where they have the windows down, and Kyle's just like, smell those Douglas firs. So he found out what the trees were. Yeah, that's adorable. And it's his fault that they were lost, too. It's kind of, like, off from the rest of the series, too, because he's, like, the one who finds out everything. So it's kind of weird that he's the reason that... Yeah, but they really do make the donuts, like, a very present thing in, like, the first episode.
Yeah, and even, like, later on in the series, there's, like, that big shot of, like, the whole table with the donuts.
That is in the pilot, I think.
It?
Yeah.
Oh, this is, like, the second
That's
or
in
third.
the pilot, no.
Really?
If I come across it in my notes, I'll let you know.
Okay, deal.
All right.
Okay, so the biker goes right, they go left. He's like, I think they hear them down the old logging road.
They lose them for a while, and then Donna and James meet like on a dark street, and James is like, Laura was involved in things that Donna would hate her for, and Donna's like, I know her better than you think. And they have this whole, like, melodramatic scene, and James says, Laura said Bobby killed some guy and wonders if he's involved in... And now I'm wondering if he's involved in Laura's murder. And then he describes a scene that we later see in the movie Fire Walk with Me, and also in The Return, where she basically is like, I love you, James! And then, like, runs off taking him to the wilderness.
Yeah, where she's like, there are things, you don't know about me. Even Donna doesn't know me.
Yeah.
That's what he describes that whole thing.
Yeah. And so, anyway, James is, like, crying, and Donna starts making out with him. And then at first they're like, they kiss, and they're like, I'm sorry. And then...
It's like, I changed my mind.
I changed my mind. I'm not sorry. And then they start, like,
God.
going full on.
Like, real
makeup. I wrote, oh, James. Like, oh, Angelo.
Oh, I
And then they agree to bury the half-heart necklace that he holds. Because both Donna... Well, James knows he's not guilty, and Donna believes him.
Yeah. And then they leave, and the detective theme goes on, comes on, sorry. And that's in Imperial Symphonies, and they're eating donuts.
Industrial Symphony?
Yeah. I totally have written Imperial Symphonies, not like Imperial Bedrooms at all.
We're thinking of Imperial Bedrooms,
Well,
we were just...
That's really weird that we were talking about earlier today.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
And so they're eating donuts while they're following the bikers, and they're like, "That's not the Joey guy; it's James Hurley." And Donna's like, "He didn't do it." And Coop's like, "She's probably right." And then
but Cooper and Harry do finally find James and Donna, and they give Donna to Doc Hayward, like, let her go, and then James is put in jail. But I don't think they think he's a suspect or anything. Bobby and Mike are in jail too. And then...
it is... Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so
then the huge donut setup comes.
Yes,
see? I was right.
Before that, there's, like, a whole, like, Full House moment about the tire bike shit. Like, the air in the tire and the bike thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the donuts are laid out.
Yeah, so I wrote, like, huge donut set up in the police conference room. Sheriff Truman recommends Cooper stay at the Great Northern while in town after Cooper goes into great detail about what he needs in a good hotel room.
Clean.
Because he goes, like,
affordable.
Doesn't he say it, like, twice in the show?
Yeah, at least. He says it, like, in the very, very beginning.
He says it, like, to Diane on the recorder,
place.
and then he says it to Sheriff Truman
Twice.
later on. And then it's, like, the exact same words.
Clean place, reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he recommends the Great Northern, and he says it twice. And then he's, like, super manic in this episode. I have that written down.
He kind of is.
And then they're like, so they go back to the jail, and they look at, so it's like Bobby and Mike in one cell, and then James in another cell. Mm-hmm. And I think they say, like, something about, like, when you least expect it, and they're like, "Wah, wah, wah."
Yeah, they bark at him,
and
like, in unison.
Weird.
And they're both, like, screaming back and forth in this really weird, like, edited shot.
Of that Sign Peaks meme. And it's, like, them barking, and, like, it has Elaine going, like, "Shut up!" And then they're barking back. Like, oh my god.
Like, they start barking, and then they start screaming, and then, like, it's a shot that goes between both of them that's like, ah! 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 Like, each person, like, screaming.
Well,
like,
James is just like, what the fuck is
and
going on?
James is just looking at them.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So that happens.
And then it goes to the Packard/Martell.
Yeah, like Josie's at her mill, or her place by the mill.
Her place by the mill.
And that's revealed when Sheriff Truman and Josie have an affair or a thing going on together. They're not having an affair because they're both single, but
I mean, isn't it like an affair is just something that happened. I don't think it's like
they treat it like an affair, but
they do.
But like, both of them are single, as far as I know.
I think it's just like taboo. You know, you shouldn't be dating the. I don't know
Maybe
why. I have
it
no
was
idea
like the
why.
time or something.
Well, everybody's so hush hush about everything. Like, I think it's just like nobody wants to talk about other people's business, but it's like impossible not to know other people's business in this.
But
town.
I mean, like, okay, like, why wouldn't someone in a position that's the sheriff and someone who's in a position of a mill owner not feel okay to marry each other?
That's a good question.
Or date each other.
Yeah.
Because they're both in positions of power.
Maybe because she lost her husband recently or something? Like, maybe because, like, that was a deal. I don't know, like, how soon. So they, start making out, and then Ben Horn is on the phone with Catherine Martell, and she's like, Harry's over here.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's get together and talk about it. And I'm like, about their relationship or the fuck?
Yeah, Catherine is spying out of the window and basically tells Ben over the phone.
Let's get together.
Then we get another shot of the stoplight again. And Sarah's lying on the couch at home, and we get the ceiling fan shot, the famous ceiling fan shot.
Yeah.
Sorry if my voice is going hoarse. I'm not used to talking this much. Okay. So yeah, we get the famous ceiling fan shot, and we get a vision of the flashlight in the woods, and then a gloved hand unburying and taking the half-heart necklace. And then Sarah Palmer, Laura's mom, screams in horror, and the episode ends.
And then the credits roll to a picture of Laura Palmer as homecoming queen.
Yeah.
And so I have...
Which I think almost always uses the credits.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I have also the alternate.
Yeah, so the alternate ending.
So, alright, let's go.
You want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. So this is Sarah asleep on the couch.
Well, we should probably preface this by saying... there's an international pilot with an alternate ending. And so if you're in the United States, you probably haven't seen this.
Yeah.
But it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, so with the alternate ending, go ahead.
So Sarah's asleep on the couch. And she envisions herself looking for Laura upstairs. And she's on the stairs. She looks in the bedroom and she sees Bob at the foot of the bed and screams, "Leland, I saw him!" And then when it cuts to her, back in the living room, when she's yelling that, you can see like Bob in the mirror behind her.
Yeah,
it was so creepy.
I'm so cool. I'm so glad that you picked up on that because that's so cool.
And I wish they would have put. Why wouldn't they put this in the fucking? Anyway, so and then it goes to Lucy and Andy doing their thing.
That's a weird scene.
It's a really weird scene.
Yeah, I wrote Andy plays trumpet while Lucy plays with a ping pong with like a string paddle.
Yeah, but he's playing taps. The dun 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 dun.
Okay.
Dun, like the funeral military song.
It's weird. And then Leland calls Lucy and's telling her that Sarah saw a killer in Laura's bedroom and suggests a sketch artist. And he's like, and you know what sketches... Or wait.
A sketch artist. And she said Hawk is a good sketch artist. Which is kind of crazy. They have a full man band up there, I guess.
Now, I wrote something that I didn't put in full context, but just so that... But I know now that I'm looking at it. It's that... Lucy being Lucy, because she's an idiot, is and you know what? The sketches look just like the people he's drawing.
Yes, that was so funny. It's she's a good sketch artist, and it's just like
so. Okay, yeah, I figured that one out, even though I wrote it really terribly.
That's hilarious. And so, she calls the sheriff in his cruiser and tells him that Sarah saw the guy, and I think she says this, she's I'm gonna call whatever in his cruiser, she says this out loud before she actually does it. It was kind of weird. And then so Harry says he's gonna head over to Sarah's, and then it cuts to Dale having a bad dream, and then he receives a phone call, and it sounds like what's his name?
Is it the giant?
No, it's the one-armed man. What's his name?
Bob?
The one-armed man.
Oh,
man.
Mike. The other Mike.
What's his other name?
The one-armed man.
He has a normal name.
Well, Bob was part of him.
Yeah, I know. I get you. But
his name is Mike.
No, there was another name that he goes by.
No.
In the series. I'll bet you thousands of dollars.
Okay, well, you've heard it here first, folks. We're going to place a bet on that.
All right, thousands of dollars.
Not $1,000, but I will definitely bet you $10 over that. That
the one-armed man only has one name in the series?
And that his name is Mike and his arm is Bob.
I agree with you on there, but the one-armed man also has another name that he goes by in the series.
All right. $10 bet. You
$10
guys heard it.
Right.
All right.
$10 and just cash out that
Alrighty.
shit.
We'll get there.
And so he's...
But yeah, so he's suffering from a fucking nightmare in his hotel room, and he wakes up by the phone, and there's a voice, which I guess is the person who has more than one name, even though I don't think he does. He's like, were you sleeping? It's a strange night and there's something in the air. I know who killed Teresa Banks. And then he says he's at the hospital and has info on the red thread in this, like, really, like, scary voice. So
I know about the stitches in the red thread. Like, what does that mean?
I didn't get that either.
Okay.
I wasn't able to put that together.
The stitches in the red thread.
Lucy calls next and relays the info again, and he says he has got the sketch and has met Harry, or is having Harry meet him at the hospital.
And this is 2:24 a.m. It says on this clock. So 4, 5, 6,
So yeah,
7,
it's like
8.
the middle of
It's another
the night.
8 number, which is 17 years old, is what Leland said whenever she died. So it's another 8 number, which is the number of completion. We've been over this.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
He's got a thing with 8.
8 was my soccer number.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh,
was.
interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what's weird is that the majority of the apartments I've ever lived in, if you do the numerology, they add up to 8.
Whoa.
Like, I think, like, almost all of my apartments have
That's
done that.
complete.
Uh-huh.
That's complete craziness.
I don't know.
Okay, so...
Alright, so let's get back to
He
it.
says, when 2 events happen simultaneously, you must always pay strict attention.
Yeah, and that's famous.
And
And
then-
they actually do let him say that in another episode, and that's not in the international pilot.
And so then the ghost cuts to the hospital, and Andy's talking to, like, a shadowy figure in the morgue.
Yeah, it's like a silhouette of a man who's, like, standing in the dark at the morgue, and, like, it's kind of, like, a revealing.
And...
He steps out and says, like, let's keep the lights off.
Yeah, that's right. He said, like, the lights are messed up or something.
Yeah, and which is true, because they were, like, blinking on and off earlier in the morgue whenever they were, like, having
that's
Leland
right.
identify the body of Laura.
Okay, so he's like, the one-armed man appears, and he asks Laura Palmer, he said, like, was Laura Palmer here? And then he starts going into the whole fire walk with me chant.
Right.
Like,
Through the darkness, the future
past,
past, blah, blah, blah.
the musician longs to see one chance.
And it's between two worlds, fire walk with me. Yeah.
And then he did the
I'm
whole...
scared to even say it, because it's just like, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. So you don't want to, like, manifest that.
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Candyman. And so he then he goes on to the convenience store. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to the whole, like, he has a different name. You know, I think that his name actually may be, like, Mike Gerard or something.
It's still Mike.
I know, but I didn't think about that. Like,
All right,
so
let's just move on.
Okay, but hold on. I just want to, like, correct myself there. You may be right, but he definitely had a second name other than just
Okay.
Mike. Okay. All right.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Okay, so my name is Mike. Okay, so my name is Mike. His name is Bob. And then he says, Dale says, you were in an elevator here this afternoon at 1:30. And the one-armed man says, I'm looking for Bob.
Yeah.
He sometimes works with the infirmed. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
I was touched by the devilish one. I used to have a tattoo on the left shoulder. And then he asks
He
Mike...
delivers this in a really scary way.
Oh, yeah, he's
like,
great.
it's totally believable. It's like, oh my god, like, he's saying the most, like, insane shit, and I believe him at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. He's a, like, great actor.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know.
So, the sheriff asks Mike to ID Bob based off the sketch. And then he does it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, where's Bob? He's downstairs in the basement. And then Mike has, like, a creepy smile.
Yeah.
And then
And then this is where it gets, like, really, like, what?
and then, like, Bob's in the basement with a circle of candles.
Yeah, so, like,
He's
before they do that, Mike confirms the sketch of Bob from Sarah's vision and says Bob is in the hospital basement. Although he also says that Bob lives above the convenience store at the same time.
Was it Philip Gerard?
Hmm?
Was his name Philip Gerard? Am I freaking out?
That actually kind of sounds familiar.
I think that
Okay,
may be
we
it.
may be able to agree on that. All right.
Okay.
All right. We're
Sorry.
gonna do our research. Sorry, everyone. Anyway, yeah, so they go to down this, like, basement boiler room. It's very, like, Freddy Krueger. And Bob is, like, crawling around next to this, like, circle of white candles.
Yeah.
I think, like, 8 of them.
I think he's listening to the Cranberries. And,
yeah.
he, has to let it linger.
Yeah.
He says he's like in this, like, sleeveless jean shirt. And, like, it's, like, super metal, like, and, you know, super metal. And then they approach him with, like, weapons drawn.
Well, yeah. I mean, Truman has his gun drawn, and he's ready for anything. And Bob is inviting them, like, come on, I won't hurt you. And so they approach him slowly, and then Bob asks if Mike is with them.
He's like, no.
Yeah, they deny it, but
He wants to see him.
yeah, there's like this there's this mystical, like, pad synth music that plays.
Oh, the music.
Yeah, like where whenever they mention that there's like something I don't know, like an Angela
like
moment.
A cue? Yeah. And so he's like, no, like, I want to see him. And there's like a ringing happens, and he's like, Mike, is that you? So, like, there's, like, yeah, like, some, like, weird, like, aural effects, like, going on. And then he's like, scallywag, something about night falls. Do you have it written down, like, what the whole thing is?
No, I don't.
Do you have any, like...
I wrote, I put, he does his famous quote, I'll catch you with my death bag. And they ask him, what are the letters spelled that are found underneath the fingernails? And he said, Robert, my proper name. I promise I will kill again. At which point Mike runs in and shoots Bob.
Yeah.
Then has a weird breakdown, barely coherent. He says, wait till it's your time. And then Cooper makes a wish, the candles blow out, and then we get like a quick shot of Kyle in the Black Watch 25 years later, and it cuts out. We did it!
Yay, you did it!
Twin Peaks pilot. Sorry for the wait, everybody.
Yeah.
I know. We've been going through our own personal shit, and we're just doing our best.
That's also the holidays and stuff like that, too.
Oh, God. I hate the holidays.
I'm not, like, a big fan either.
I hate the holidays. No.
Just on the Manic Monday. Just on the Manic January.
We got Lynch, and that's what's important.
It is important. So, here we are. There we go.
So, I guess we can get into the outro?
Sure. We didn't even do the intro, kind of.
Yeah, we kind of did.
Okay.
I mean, we have.
Is there any recaps from?
I don't know. I've got so much in my mind, I can't even think.
Yeah,
of
I mean, like,
right
I really can't think of any.
Okay, so I mean, the secret podcast of Laura Palmer is created by Paul Medley and
produced by me, Amanda J.
Yeah, and together we do the theme music in our musical group, Revenue LLC. So check us out on Spotify. We got new shit coming soon too.
Holla.
So get into it.
It's good shit.
Anything else?
Gosh, I mean, I don't know. I think that's about
All right.
it, right?
I think that's it.
Yeah?
All right.
Okay.
Well, we love you. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. And if you've been having a shitty week as we have, then more love and support to you because you deserve it.
Yeah, for real. Peace out.
Okay.
Catch you with my death bag.
I'll catch you with my death bag.